The Intergalactic Academy of Xenosciences had welcomed its first human students only 3 cycles ago. At first, it was seen as a gesture of peace. Let the young of the galaxy mingle, learn, and dispel fears about the new Deathworld species called humans. But no matter how carefully the Academy tried to normalize them, the word Deathworlder clung to the humans like a shadow. Earth was infamous as one of the most hostile Class 7 planets. Gravity too high, climate too volatile, predators too cunning. To survive there, a species had to be extreme. The aliens whispered about it in the halls. What horrors must a human endure just to reach adulthood? To settle the matter, Professor Crixel of the Yulren decided on a simple classroom experiment. His subject, human physiology. The lecture hall was filled with dozens of species. Feathery calyx students, gelatinous sorlins, the chitinous HRR tech. At the back sat the humans. Emma Carter, a wiry engineering student, and Malik Johnson, a broad-shouldered athlete who had been invited to represent human biomechanics. Professor Crixel clicked his mandibles. Today, we will demonstrate comparative stress response. A controlled exercise. Nothing harmful, of course. He displayed the apparatus. A small chamber designed to simulate stress conditions by gradually increasing pressure, temperature, and oxygen fluctuation. Most species lasted 3 minutes before fainting. The point was to illustrate biological fragility and the importance of technological assistance. The aliens murmured in anticipation. Humans were about to fail, they assumed, or at least perform no better than anyone else. Malik grinned as the chamber opened. "You want me to go first, Professor?" The test began. At 1 minute, Malik stood casually, arms crossed. Sweat beaded, but his breathing remained steady. At 3 minutes, the standard endurance time, his pulse had risen only slightly. He smirked through the glass and gave a thumbs up. At 5 minutes, the calyx began to panic. He should be unconscious. His tissues should. At 7, Professor Crixel flicked his antennae nervously. "Human, you may stop now. This is sufficient." But Malik shook his head. "Back home, we call this a sauna. Feels good." The class erupted in disbelief. When Malik finally stepped out at the 10-minute mark, seemingly unscathed, Professor Crixel stammered, "Remarkable, but perhaps an outlier." Another volunteer. Emma raised her hand. Unlike Malik, she was small, pale, and unassuming. Some students scoffed that human won't last half as long. She entered the chamber. The settings resumed. 1 minute. Calm. 3 minutes. No distress. 6 minutes. She began doing push-ups inside the chamber, deliberately raising her heart rate under stress conditions. By the 8th minute, half the class had fallen silent. By the 10th, even Professor Crixel had lost the ability to speak. Emma stepped out, wiping sweat from her brow. Honestly, that was easier than running in summer heat back on Earth. The experiment should have ended there, but curiosity gnawed at the students. "Humans are built for endurance," Malik explained to the stunned crowd. "Back home, we used to run animals to exhaustion over hours. Our ancestors could chase prey until it literally dropped dead." Gasps. Murmurs. A Sorlin blob quivered violently. "Impossible!" shouted a HRR tech. "Predators are fast. How can slow bipeds succeed?" Emma shrugged. "Because we never stop." Crixel, to salvage his lesson, decided to test pain tolerance instead. A harmless nerve simulation band was passed around. Most species pulled away in a second or two, overwhelmed by the sensation. Humans? Malik winced, then grinned. "Feels like stubbing your toe. I've had worse." Emma? She wore it for a full minute, chatting casually about her breakfast. The aliens looked at them not with disdain now, but with a dawning unease. The whispers spread fast. Humans endure pressures that would cripple us. Humans withstand pain as if it were nothing. Humans grew strong because their planet tried to kill them every day. By the end of the lesson, the term Deathworlder no longer carried mystery, it carried weight. Professor Crixel recorded his conclusion. Humans possess physiological endurance beyond expectation. But their true strength lies not only in body, but in will. When most species falter, humans persist. When most would yield, humans continue. The death world has forged them into something dangerous. That night, Malik and Emma sat in the academy cafeteria while alien students stared at them with a mix of awe and fear. Malik chuckled. "Guess we showed them." Emma sipped her drink. "Yeah, and we didn't even show the crazy stuff yet." The calyx sitting nearby swallowed nervously. "Crazy stuff," Emma smiled. "Fasting for a week. Running 100 kilometers. Climbing mountains with no gear. Stuff like that." The calyx fainted on the spot. The school experiment had been meant as a harmless demonstration of biology. Instead, it exposed a truth the galaxy had ignored. Humans were not fragile newcomers. They were survivors, Deathworlders, and everyone finally understood what that meant.